Today for our reading lesson, we're going to focus on the MLK book or Martin Luther King Jr. book, and we're going to be using this chart and filling it in. I call it, or it's called the 5Ws chart because each word starts with a W. So we're going to be answering the questions who, what, when, where, and why. And I thought I'd show you how to complete this with a book that we've already read, the book of Anna and the Coat. I think it's maybe the Magic Coat. So all of these questions, and we're going to try to fill in based on what we know in the story, okay? So I'm going to go back to the book. Oh, Anna and the Magic Coat. Yeah, that's the name of it. Okay. So the first question is who? So who is a person? So in this story, who is our story mainly about? I think that one's pretty easy. That's Anna. So I'm going to go back. And for this, I can either write Anna with the marker or the highlighter, or I can click on this little button here that has the T, the two T's, and that makes my text box, okay? So I can pick my color for my writing. I'm going to pick blue. This is just like we did when we were practicing writing our names. I'm going to write Anna. And then I can move it with this button into the square, and if I want to make it just fit just right, just like that. Okay. Let's click on my next one. I'm going to put that there for what. Okay. What is really important in this story? Let's see. Let me go back to the book. And I know that when we read this story, we talked a lot about why certain things happened and what is a thing. So there's something in this story. It's either what's happening or what she's doing. We know it's about our person. So what is happening? What's the big thing that happens in this story? And if you're having a little bit of trouble, sometimes you can look at the title, you can look at the pictures, you can read the pages where important things happen. And I know here there's a lot about the magic coat. So what is happening is wearing Opa's coat. So here I'm going to write wearing Opa's coat. Because that's a big part that drives the story. All right, so when? So when does this story take place? Sometimes we call this the setting, or no, that's the setting or the time and place is when and where. Most of this story, because I remember that she was really upset about the cupcakes, I think, so it's not at nighttime, it looks like it's just during the daytime. So I'm going to say during the daytime. If there is a date in the story, like there's a time it says like in the year 2020 or 2020, you could write that for when. But for right now, I'm just going to say during the daytime because I don't know exactly when it happened. I don't know if it's in the spring or the fall. I just know that it's during the day. All right. And then where is this happening? So that's another piece of our setting. Where is this happening? So it starts out in the house with her grandma, but then I think a lot of stuff happens more when she's at school at recess. So I'm going to say at school for that one. I'm going to click my box again. Now remember, you can write this in. I'm using the text box. Oops, didn't put it down. Because for me, it's easier to see when I type it. But if you want to write that in, just make sure you're careful so that I can read your writing. I know it's a little tricky to write on the computer with the touchpad. I'm learning how to do it too. Okay, and then why? So we have Anna wearing Opa's coat during the daytime at school. Why? Why does she wear the coat? Let's go back into the text and see if we can find out why she wears the coat. So she says that she took the cupcakes, ran outside, and shouted at the rain, "Gone!" I also remember that she really was sad about the rain because of the cupcakes. Like here she says, rain is not good for cupcakes. So I think that she is wearing this coat during the daytime at school so that she can change the weather. So I'm going to say why. I'm going to put my text box here. Oops, to change the weather. Awesome. Okay, and then I just hit my lock button and then the submit button so that I can see your work. And me and Mr. Salazar can see your work. In this, obviously, so this story about Anna and the magic coat is a fiction story, right? So there's not as many details sometimes filled in if it's a super short story. But the story about Martin Luther King Jr., that is a nonfiction story. So that is a real story about a real person. So I think you might have an idea about what to put in the who box, but make sure that when you are filling it in, that you are just being careful to put it in each box. And it says to think about the last section of the book. So there's a lot going on here in this last section about Martin Luther King Jr. and in the and after the I Have a Dream, okay? Because the first part is kind of talking about what was going on, and then the last part of this book is talking about him specifically and what he did. All right. Time for you to start.